All right. Time for you to start dancing.
Good morning. It's a tap dance. You just can't see
I
my
don't
feet.
know if you've ever made it on in the very beginning part of Coffee Club, but this is every day I say, like, this is where I'd like to be playing a great song. So we're waiting for people and there could be this cool.
Like Facebook, a musical interlude. Yeah, they'll take you right down.
Facebook will mute it. So I can't, unless I guess I had an original composition, but.
There's also some songs you can use to like royalty-free songs, but they're kind of generic and boring.
Yeah, I guess I could try. It would just be weird. It would be weird, but that wouldn't be out of character. So yeah, we just wait instead.
We just hang out and like have some coffee.
Yeah, we just drink coffee.
I love it.
Do you put stuff in your coffee, or are you a black coffee drinker?
This has some milk in it. It's just a Starbucks instant coffee, which is delicious and quick, and a little bit of milk.
See, this is the only thing that you're the first person I've asked that to. And now when I reflect back to the past year, like I've had coffee with so many people, but I never asked them how they take their coffee. So I was like, I'll kind of recreate. If we were in a coffee shop together, I'd be like, what are you getting? And I'd hear how you would order it, and I would start to learn more about you by your coffee.
Yeah, because like you tell a lot about somebody about their order. Like if it's like, I need a half sweet venti mocha frappa something, this temperature. It's like, really? Why?
You learn a lot about
just delicious
from their coffee orders. Morning, Melodyne. Morning, April. Yeah, you'd learn. I feel like it's almost like a secret but not secret personality test.
Yeah,
what
totally.
People take their coffee. And I'm not going to lie, I admire the all black coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Their life is simple. Strong. They can just take their coffee wherever.
It's easy. You don't need anything. Just some water.
So gross. Yeah. So gross.
Well, I do some black coffee when I'm out on the trail, like going up a mountain. You just pull up the stove and black coffee it is.
In your goat form, which we'll refer to in a moment. Good morning, Kathy. So, all right, you can flippity flop.
I can. Yeah. I mean, in certain situations, that's all you got. So enjoy it.
Yeah. Have you ever been out to the Bayou Ranch?
Long time ago.
Ever had their cowboy coffee made on the fire?
Yeah, I used to have a camping coffee on my stove, and it's a percolator, so it makes those little percolating sounds, and there's grounds that make it to the bottom, so you serve the last little bit. But that's my go-to coffee maker at my house, and it's like camping coffee every day. It's like, the real deal.
You make it as strong, because theirs is like cowboy coffee.
It's strong.
It's got that sludginess to it. That's beautiful. And then it's all in our pre-COVID lifestyle, where there's just this big bag of sugar over on the bench. You just
I don't do sugar. I don't do the sugar anymore.
But yeah, interesting. There you go. The things we used to do before we were completely germaphobed.
True.
We'd share coffee around the fire and scoop sugar with our fingers.
Well, I hope one day we can go back there. Maybe. Who knows?
I think some people will. Some people won't.
True.
Morning, Trellis. Morning, Kelly. Wow. Welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. It is Fun Friday, and I'm really excited for you guys to have coffee with my friend Rhett, who is part mountain goat. This has come out during COVID, which I'll tell you about. But Rhett and I met in our respective work world. He does some communications for a recovery center in Calgary, and we ended up meeting and connecting to do a little work together, and I got to do some writing for you. And through that process then, just with COVID, we've become fast friends, and you are a fascinating guy, and I'm just so excited to have coffee with you today.
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, it's exciting to be here. I'm happy to, have a coffee.
We just sit and drink a coffee together, and I don't know. I feel like with people getting the chance to meet you today, maybe your newfound TikTok fame will start to skyrocket, because you look like you've recently become hooked on TikTok. Is that,
Well, I
true?
started an account and I was like, what is this all about? And what is, like, who's out there? And I've recently started a journey into recovery the last couple of years. And there's this whole recovery community out there into the social media world. And on TikTok, and I was like, well, let's see what it's like. And I was looking to explore to possibly do account for the organization I work for. And so I'm like, I'll do a couple TikToks on my own. And I'm like, you start exploring and seeing what everybody else is doing. And you add a few things and all of a sudden people are liking it. And like, it's, you're getting 4,000 views on a video. You're like, what is going on? Like, how am I getting this engagement? What is the key to get that kind of engagement on a video? And can you keep it going? Is that sustainable? So I'm just a couple weeks in and posted a few videos, and it's kind of fun. And there's a whole community of recovery on TikTok, and it's like, they call it recovery TikTok. And it's people that are sustained from substance use. And it's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what I think from your communications background, right, it's fascinating to see what the hype is with this platform, and the sustainability I question, but people are having fun. That's for sure. I don't know if TikTok would have done as well without COVID.
True, but it did have some bad press in the US. So, I mean, it did get a kicking down there, but it was, there's a ton of Canadians, and I'm finding people in my community, which I didn't think that was even possible on TikTok. Like inside of the Alberta, like Southern Alberta community in recovery, people messaging me going, hey, I'm here. I'm like, amazing.
That's so good. So talking about your recovery journey, if we can for a moment, I thought it would be neat because I've learned a lot from you in this past year. I think sometimes people, when they hear the word recovery, they're not really sure what that means. And then they don't really know, like all of a sudden it becomes, am I going to say something offensive? Am I going to do something offensive? How do I support somebody who says that to you? Because I think, like anything in the world, once we say words like recovery or suicide or words that make us uncomfortable, the more we say and talk about them, the more comfortable they become. So do you find that people don't know how to respond to that, or do you find it's better? Or what does that look and feel like?
I mean, there's some people that just come right out and like, what are you doing? Like, what is this thing called recovery that you're in? And what is it about? And, it's great to have the questions, and it reduces the stigma. Cause I mean, it's a mental health disorder, right? It's a mental health issue. And it's, a substance, the technical term, I have a substance use disorder that's in remission, and people in the recovery community identify themselves as an addict or an alcoholic. Those two words, I don't mind using them. Like, I mean, I have an addictive personality, and I have an addiction to alcohol, and I was an alcoholic. But now that I don't drink, am I still an alcoholic? Some people say yes, and some people say no. But, the technical term is substance use disorder in remission. And that's a mouthful. So, I mean, I just like to say I'm in recovery. And what does that mean? I mean, I'm recovering from mental health issues. I'm working on myself. I'm taking care of my mental health issues now that I'm not taking all that time to drink and do drugs and not be healthy. I'm working on my health, and I'm actually, it's just like this whole change of life in the last couple of years for me.
Well, and what I think was kind of cool timing for us to have coffee is your 2-year, you call it a soberversary? I don't even know the language.
Soberversary, birthday. A lot of people call it their birthday, and, because it's like a rebirth.
Yeah. And that's officially Monday. So
Monday, got a couple more days, as long as I, make sure I do my work and keep it on the straight and narrow. I'll make it to 2 years on Monday, and it's a great feeling, and it's fun. I'm glad to be here today to celebrate.
And I was writing down, so I was trying to be like, is there a cool acronym we could make from substance use?
Oh yeah,
just so it's like SUDEER.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll rebrand it. I don't know.
This will be our mission. We're gonna brand this. It'll be good. Jackie shares with us, congratulations, Rhett. I needed to hear this message of hope this morning.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
It's possible. We do recover, and it's a beautiful life. My life looks completely different than it did 2 years ago.
Yeah, and continues to evolve. Do you find that you ever, I don't know if worry is the right word, because I don't want to cast that in a negative place, but do you ever feel concerned that you'll stumble?
Relapse, yeah. I mean, it's an ever-present danger. Alcohol and drugs are everywhere, and social settings. A lot of activities surround themselves around an alcoholic beverage, and so, the first year I had to really excuse myself from going to certain activities. I was given some Flames tickets, and I'm like, oh boy, that's where I used to go and not watch the game. I used to spend it in the bar in the Saddle Dome. And so I was like, do I take these tickets? And the guy's like, well, they're yours. You can just give them away, whatever you want to do with them. And so I actually asked someone that was in the program that I'm in to go with me. And then we went, and then we end up at Tim Hortons, and there's a whole bunch of other people from the same fellowship and the same program that we're in, all hanging out at the Tim Hortons. I'm like, this is amazing. And it's just a whole group of people that go and enjoy their lives just like a regular human. If you think about it, the Saddle Dome's the biggest bar in Alberta or Calgary, Yeah.
Well, and I think too, there's always an interesting societal view around it, because I don't know if your case might be different in that you can, in recovery. But if you're someone who's not in recovery, who would like to choose to abstain from an alcoholic beverage, I know I'm not a huge drinker. I joke about it a lot, I guess, because I think it's this weird normal to joke about it, which I'm not really sure how we do that. But there's lots of times when I've gone to rodeo cabarets or different things, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to. People treat you weird when you say no. Mm-hmm. As a society, we have to stop doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I don't know. I think for me in this past 2 years, I understand I did that. And it's like, it's the shaming / I don't want to feel bad about my drinking. So I'm going to say, hey, you should drink with me. And so, you have to look at yourself. If you're doing those kind of things, you have to look at yourself and ask them, what's the motivation I'm asking this person to drink with me? Why am I giving them some pressure to have a drink with me? I don't think there's a lot of those people. I mean, most of my friends that still drink, and I've become better friends with them since I've entered a recovery, because we have a real relationship, and they're really supportive, and it's beautiful. And the friends that are kind of like, to hang out with me, you have to have a drink. I just can't be friends with them anymore. So my friend group's changed, like pretty much a whole group of new people that just are in recovery. And I've got a few friends that I've reconnected with that I haven't seen in a long time that aren't in recovery. And we have a really good relationship because I'm present.
Well, Jackie shares a little more that she works in the field of homelessness and substance abuse disorder, and she lost a client last night. So she's feeling that the flip side of this world today. Yeah. And I think that's a reality. But what I think is nice is Rhett, is you give us an example of what is possible.
Yeah, for me, like recovery, it's a life and death thing. And I've seen that. I went to a recovery center, treatment center early on in my recovery to understand myself better and to find a path that was just a better way of life and understand the disease of alcoholism a little bit more. And in that group, that peer group that I had, we've already lost a handful of people. And it's not a big group. It was, 35, 40 people, and we've lost a handful already. So I see every day, and working in addiction treatment, I see every day it's a life and death situation for some people. This is like, if you use, might be the last day you use. And with the drug situation out there, you don't know what you're getting, you don't know what's in your drugs. And if it's laced with something and you take it, your heart stops and that's it. And it's like that risk you have as a user that you don't know what's in that. And so for me, it's life and death. And so if I choose to head back out and experiment with drugs and alcohol again, I'm assuming I'm not going to make it back to recovery. So that's my thing that really prevents me from thinking that way. And it's tough because you have to rewire your brain to, this is where I'm going to be now. And I use some words that I've heard before from other people in recovery, and it's unconditional sobriety. There's no reason why I'm going to have to drink or use ever again, like death, life, happiness, sadness, anything. And the reason why most addicts and alcoholics use is to escape their feelings. And now I have to sit in my feelings, which is really difficult, like learning feelings. I'm like, what are these things?
You have to watch that Disney movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I can't think of what it's called, but it's the one with, like, you see all the feelings inside the little girl.
I don't know.
Have you seen that one?
But it's maybe.
It would be one for you to check out, in just that it's I think everyone should watch it, because it really identifies the role of a feeling inside of your body and how it interacts with other feelings. It was well done. I can't think.
If you think of the name,
maybe somebody knows the name.
Soul. I'll have to check it out. I'll Google it.
Yeah, every once in a while, Disney knocks it out of the park. I think it was Disney. Anyway, so my question, I guess, that before I switch gears on you, is just for those of us in the world where, say, we have a new friend in recovery, or we know somebody who's going to, or we're like, how do we support? How do we become the people that are helping to make a difference for people in recovery?
I think it's simple. You ask them, how can I support you? And if when they're ready to take that support, they'll come back. Because at first I was like overwhelmed with all the support. It was like just overwhelming, because there's all these people that I don't really know giving me support that I've never really felt before. It was the first time I really felt like I fit in anywhere when I walked into the program that I'm in. It's a beautiful fellowship, and it's overwhelming, because you're like, you're isolated, you're drinking and you're using, and then you walk into this community that's all like, we support you, we will help you do anything, we'll pick you up and take you to a meeting, we'll pick you up and go to coffee, we'll buy you a dinner. I'm like, this is crazy, and they don't want anything from you, and it's overwhelming. So sometimes, like, I think some of my friends that were like, they knew I had stopped, and they were reaching out, and I was ignoring them / not sure what to do, because there's also a lot of shame. A lot of, sadness.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you have the courage to say something, even if you say it wrong, the person is not going to turn away from it. It's just, you just have to be really vulnerable together.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, it's just, any support is better than no support, and just letting someone know that you want to support them is the true, like, beauty in that. So,
well, I think that we've heard a little, although I don't feel there has been enough conversation around, but just because we never know who takes a moment to tune in to have coffee with us. If there is somebody who has, maybe through COVID with isolation, or maybe it's just been in life, or maybe they've come to a place where they're really struggling with their use, or maybe that has increased, or maybe they feel like they're losing control a little bit of what's happening in their life, what would you say to that person today?
Well, the opposite of addiction is connection. And during COVID, we're lacking connection. So you're isolated, you're not reaching out, you're not talking to people in the same fashion you talked to them before. Like, coffee is now online. Like, it's not a connection, and you don't have that in-person contact, a hug. Like, the last time you had a hug, it's like, I can't remember, a handshake, you don't have that personal connection anymore. And the opposite of addiction is connection. So if you're missing that connection, you're trying to find it somewhere else. And, to not feel those feelings, you may be drinking or using or doing something else that's not beneficial to your health or your mental health. And you find yourself in that cycle of, I just don't want to feel this, so I'm going to do this instead. And to break that, we have to find connection somehow. And, there's a lot of ways. If you want to enter into recovery, it's really simple. You pick up a phone and you make some phone calls. There's a ton of resources out there. I work in addiction treatment, and our phone's on 24 hours a day. People get back to you within a day. You can Google, there's so much out there. But the thing is, when you're in active addiction, I know when I was in active addiction, That's the last thing I wanted to do, is reach out and tell somebody I had a problem. And, until it was a real problem. And then it was like, I wish I would, my biggest regret about this whole journey is I didn't do it earlier.
Yeah. What about when you're watching somebody, like, somebody's in that, like, you can't force them.
No.
Do they have to come to it on their own terms? Like, how does that sort of work? Or is everyone different?
There's interventionists, people, you can intervention, you want to intervene, you want to be, make them aware of it, but also you don't want to accuse them. You don't want to you want to come from a place of love. And it's really hard, because when someone's in active addiction and someone's overusing, their brain isn't functioning properly, and they may not hear that message, and it might be like they will feel like they may feel attacked. Some people say they have to come to realization on their own to be able to really find true recovery. But I think helping people and helping each other is a beautiful way of it means you care. And if you can come from that caring, loving place and not, shame somebody, or it's a tough situation, and it's a delicate situation, because you got to remember the person on the other side, their brain function isn't functioning at the same capacity as someone that isn't using. Uh-oh. Internet. Can you hear me? Am I here by myself? It says I'm still in the show, and everyone can see and hear me. Well, welcome to the Jody Seeley Show. This is Virtual Coffee Club. I'm Rhett, and I'm hosting now for Jody, I think. I don't know where she went. I wonder if we're having a connection issue. I was hosting for a second, Jody. I'm not sure if you were there or not.
I had left you. I was trying to message you in the comments to be like, keep going. You got this.
I was just welcome to the Jody Seeley Show, and this is Coffee Club. I was like, is it my connection or your connection? See, at least we're connected again. See, the connection is good. Yeah. It's good for me.
Yeah. When your connection ceases, just wait a sec. It'll come back. So I don't know. My apologies.
That's okay. I wasn't sure if I was still in the room or not. I'm like, am I
Thanks for carrying the show.
It was terrible. That's not my forte.
Yeah. Well, once you do them every day for a year, you'd be surprised at how easy it starts to become.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But we appreciate. There's lots of people sharing, lots of people being like, keep going. But people just saying thank you for sharing your story. And I think it's just the whole part of our conversation we've talked a lot about. And Rhett has agreed to do a podcast with me where we can share a little bit more detail also. So I really look forward to having you share more, because I think in the more we share, the more people I hope we can help.
Oh, 100%. The more we talk about it, and just education, because it's that, I don't know what to do thing. If, I have a friend that's, might have a problem, and what do you do with that friend? Or maybe it's you, right? And you just don't know. And the more we talk about it, the stigma and just the stigma around all of addiction, if we can break that barrier, maybe it's one less thing for someone to make that phone call or reach out or find a treatment center to go to, and they'll find recovery. Because my life is extraordinary now. So,
well, and that was one thing I wanted to talk about, is look like, if because we became Facebook friends through this process also, is so following us now, every weekend you are sharing these like unbelievable pictures, and I don't know, am I allowed to make the joke that you traded one high for another? Like
100%.
Now you're
Yeah.
climbing mountains all the time. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've reconnected. Like, I mean, I used to hike when I was younger, and I took a long hiatus from being out in the mountains and hiking and doing those activities for many reasons, but addiction was some of that reason. And, every weekend now I'm like, I just go up a mountain, and I make that joke, and I think I've used some stories and some music that kind of gives that thing. I like to get high, and this is how I do it now. It's different, but it's also chasing that same feeling, which I got to be careful of, because that adrenaline rush, that's something that I'm looking forward to, but it's healthy. That's the thing. It's like I can climb up a mountain and take some beautiful photos and enjoy the experience. And the other thing is it's connection, because I get to go hike with people and socially distance and get up a mountain and hang out with people and have those conversations. And it's not just the climbing of a mountain for me, it's the connection and the human connection with people that I'm doing it with.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if people are really worried if you're physically distanced when hiking. Maybe you haven't hiked a lot, because I don't know how you would not physically distance when hiking. Like, nobody wants to carry somebody on the hike. Like, you're fine.
True. Yeah. There's not a lot of contact going on.
And if there is, it'd be like, get out of my space. I'm trying not to die right now. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
What's been your favorite climb or your favorite summit?
Mount Burke was beautiful. That's down your way. And it was a beautiful, beautiful hike. And it was tough. And you got up to the top. There's this little old shack at the top that was, I think, a weather station or something way back in the day. And it's dilapidated. And it's just really cool to stand up there. You can see Calgary. You can see, I'm like, I think that's Lethbridge, but maybe it wasn't. But you can definitely see downtown Calgary, and the views are amazing. And then last week a couple weeks ago now, we did with Such Mountain with a buddy of mine, and he made it up to the summit for his first, like, he's done a couple summits, but it was kind of his first exposed summit. And it's scary. You're going across these little ridges, and there's cliffs on one side and cliffs on the other side. And he made it up to the top. So it was like a huge day for him. And it was so much fun to experience that with him. And it wasn't just about me. So.
Yeah. Well, and that really shows, I think we've heard about it a lot through this past year, because there really hasn't been anything else to do, but thankfully so, the power of nature in a healing process, whatever journey you're on, is extremely powerful.
Oh yeah. Well, just the oxygenated, like just going out and like breathing and just being oxygenated. Oxygenating your body is such a great thing for you. And you don't have to climb a mountain. You can just walk around your neighborhood. But I love being out in the mountains, because it's so peaceful. And I don't know, I just get this overwhelming sense of calm, and I really enjoy it. So.
All right. So we're going to have to follow you on TikTok now. What's your TikTok name?
Planet_Rhett.
I look forward to some sort of mountain goat-like thing, because that's what I feel like you've turned into, this little mountain goat, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I haven't done too many climbing TikToks. I did one skating one, and it was skating on a mountain lake. It was kind of cool, but it's interesting. It's hard to tell a full story in 15 seconds. So you have to, I'm learning, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and having coffee with us today, sharing a little bit of your story, and just helping me bring a smile to another group of people. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jody. I'm excited to come and do the podcast soon. And thanks for having me on today.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Friday. Please make sure you check out Rhett on TikTok, or share this video. I know we have that technical issue sort of in the middle, but you just never know who might need to hear a message like this one today. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Bye, everybody.